What's up, everybody? The price we're pulling back here after a pretty decent, strong bounce. Looking at SHIB here. I'm going to look at XRP, and you're going to really love what I have to say. I think it looks probably one of the best recoveries, the strongest recoveries. And then also, we have this dump here, or a pullback, and it's very shallow. And I'll show that just a second. But what I wanted to show here is kind of like what we were just talking about yesterday in regards to our little fractal here. And I'm just going to show you on the thumbnail of yesterday's video. So this was the thumbnail of yesterday's video. And basically, you know, if you look closely, right, at this fractal here for Bitcoin, we broke to the downside pretty aggressively. We popped back up and then we sort of flagged out in here. And then we, you know, 1 2 1 2, we got a little bit of some momentum in there, and then off she went, right? So that's kind of the same concept that I want to see happen for coins like ADA and SHIB and things like that, right? Filecoin, Matic, I mean Ethereum, all of them really. So yesterday I said we're probably going to come back down, like this, and then sort of hopefully find the footing in here, support, and then sort of round out. You want to round out, and then you also want to create some type of base in here, right? That lets you know support's holding, accumulation is happening, and then hopefully we break out. So we fast forward and we look at the chart now, we can see it coming down. I don't like how fast it's coming down. I wish it came down more correctively instead of like that, because it makes it challenging. But basically, we want this to kind of oscillate back up, maybe oscillate back down, kind of find its footing in here, and then start to round out. That's kind of what I'm thinking here for the current price action. Now, is there a potential where we just, reverse out of here? Yeah, it is. But then the problem with that is the shape. Now it's 3 waves, and now you're right at resistance. So you always have to think ahead. If the price is going to come up, what is it going to look like? It's not going to look good. We don't want it to come up. We actually want it to, give us a 3-wave shape, give us a little bit of a base, and then start rounding your way up. That's going to look way different than versus then going up like this, because this gives you a 3 waves, looks like downside is coming. This gives you a 3-wave pullback with some accumulation, looks like a rounded bottom, and we're going to go way higher. So it would actually be more bullish if we went further down, actually go up, then come down, versus going up from here, right? Because this is a big structure here, okay? And when we zoom out a little bit, you can see this monster thing right here. This is a big thing right here, right? And you just broke below it. Now you have all this weight here, right? That's a lot of weight. Each wave is like 200 pounds, 400 pounds, 600 pounds, right? And we'll say that's 700 pounds. You got 700 pounds of weight on top of you. That's a lot of weight. And if you extend this out, you still have 700 pounds, theoretically speaking here, right? So, trying to get through that, it's going to be hard. It's going to be heavy. It's like a big, heavy cloud on top of you. So what do you have to do in order to break something like this? You have to get away from it. You have to create a base. You have to flag out. You have to consolidate. You have to basically create a counterweight right here. It's not going to be as heavy as this, but at least you have a little bit of that counterweight. That way, when you drive, you can push through it because you're having forward momentum, you know, pushing you through it. It's kind of like the laws of physics in a chart almost. Very interesting how it works that way. Now, the good thing is you also have all of this, right? And then you have this. So these two things, this is coming up, this is coming down. And you can see they're meeting each other right in here, right? So this weight, think of it as a brick. Think of it as a 700-pound brick. This is also a 700-pound brick. And this right here is a board, and they're counterbalancing each other. Okay, so if this thing would have dragged on for another month, it would have been much heavier than this, meaning it would have broke down more aggressively because the weight on this side is more than the weight on this side. So it's a very interesting way, a dynamic way to think about a chart. All right, so now take it all with, it's all theory based. This is not factual. It doesn't mean it's real and true. It just means, it's a way to make sense of how it reacts to certain areas. So if you drag this along here, actually, let me just use some real lines. Boom, boom, right? And I'll put one in the middle here, and then one on top. And I'll just get rid of that one. So you can see we're kind of in the middle of this. So this area here is now supporting the price, right? So it's up to this support area over here to support the price over here to essentially create a structure where we can lift off and away from, right? We need some type of base. So that's kind of, just kind of explaining it in a way, So one way we can kind of get an idea is just draw a downward resistance line. It's not the greatest looking one, but that's the line there, right? So if you fast forward the time from the bottom, you're looking at January 31st. So basically we need to break out by that day. Or we're going to risk breaking the low. And if we do break the low, it's not too bad. You would just look at it more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some kind of diagonal for a C wave, right? Because it's still a 3-wave move here, right? We still have 3, 3, right? And then 1, 2, 3. And then this third wave this wave right here could be a C wave, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave C, right? But the whole thing itself is 3, 3, 3, WXY. So we need to see a bottom here, right? The good thing is we have 5 waves up, right? We have a diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now you could say 5 ended here. Okay, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's your wave 1. All of this is one wave. And this is your 3-wave pullback. That's your wave 2. Now we need to hold in here. We need to create a base. We need to create support. We need to have evidence of accumulation. And then we break above that. And that's when we can start to go. Now, can it reverse on a dime? Meaning come straight down and then straight up and then you're just gone. I hope, that's really a tough spot because how do you buy that? You're going to chase. I don't like that type of behavior because it's always trappy. It'll just be like a flat, A, B, C. It'll give us a flat structure, and then it's just going to look, it increases the risk, put it that way. We all want it to just blast off, right? But just be aware that if we get something like that, the bears are going to come out and they're gonna be like Shaquille O'Neal slapping that ball out of the freaking way, right? There's your hoop, and he's gonna be just slapping that thing. Get out of here, right? So I mean, yeah, we're just gonna have to see how this plays out. But again, my thoughts are we need some type of structure here, or even another low and then a structure and then break upon that, or the fractal we were just looking at, right? You flag out a little bit, round out, boom, 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 and then just kind of curl your way out of there. That's nice as well. So anyways, all right, let's look at XRP. Jeez Louise, look at this thing. This thing came all the way back basically to the swing high, like immediately. And that's what you have to look for. What has this was recovery, right? So look at the length of the recovery right there. Now let's look at another coin. Look how weak that was. Look how weak it was, right? Let's look at another coin. That was very weak. Look at the dump now. So we're measuring two things, okay? We're measuring, number one, how hard it recovered, how nicely it recovered, and number two, the pullback. How big is the pullback, right? If you rally really, really hard like XRP did, you have the right to pull back pretty deep. But look at XRP. It hasn't even really pulled back at all. It went straight back to its little area up here, and it hasn't even pulled back yet. That shows tremendous resilience. It shows strength. It shows buyers are not willing to let go of it because they value it more than something like this ICP. And that doesn't mean it's going to be valued like this forever. It just means in this moment in time, you know. So I actually like ICP, and we're going to look at XRP in a minute, but look at the difference. It's a little tiny little thing, right? Let's keep going here. Let's look at ADA. Look at ADA. ADA did not, like XRP, came all the way up back to the top, and then it pulled back just a little bit. ADA didn't even get near the top, and it's pulling back a lot compared to XRP, right? I mean, for example, THETA as well. THETA's definitely on the weaker side because you can see, you know, it didn't even want to pull back up to here, let alone up to here. And then you can see the same thing, but they're all in the same boat. Like even AVAX, right? AVAX is way weaker. Look at this. It barely did anything up, and now it's starting to come down just as heavy. So it's very weak. AVAX looks terrible, actually. It looks bad. I don't want AVAX to look bad. I want it to look good because maybe AVAX is telling the story and these other ones are not. It just seems to me that this is this is a head and shoulders now. It, you know, before it didn't look like it. Now it looks like it. And it just reminds me of something that's going to break down. So this to me looks sketchy. It looks really sketchy. I don't like this chart at all. I mean, it just looks bad. You know, so unless it's going to prove itself. Now, the only thing it has going for it, there's only one thing that can save it, not breaking that low. If we can hold that low and create a base, which is totally possible, it doesn't look like it's going to happen, but it could. I mean, if we can hold this base here, and you can say, well, I don't care about AVAX. I don't hold it anyway, so I don't care. No, you want to care because if AVAX is going to come down, that means everything else is probably going to come down. They're all going to go together in some fashion, right? So how can one look bullish and one look bearish and one do one thing and one do the same thing, right? Well, it won't do it in the same degree of maybe AVAX, but it will do it in some fashion. So if we do break down, like for example, AVAX breaks down here, comes up, gets rejected, comes back down one more time. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and then you have 1, 2, 3 down. A, B, C. Here's your C leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and C. You create a base, and then you break out later on. It's a zigzag. You have a big impulse, a 3-wave pullback, get you way the hell down here, and then you go up. That's possible, and even maybe likely. But if we start to consolidate here and start rounding out, we could come back up, because technically you got 3 waves here, which is good. So you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and you have 3 back down. Now this 3 back down could come a little bit lower. And here's another thing. You can also have liquidity grabs, right? So I could put this one here, put one more there. So you look at this as your zone of support. The price could actually dip down really fast, come back up, all within a couple days, and then even within 1 day, and then continue higher like that. And then what you have is 3, 3, and then 3. And then you have 1, 2, 3 in the third. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you have 3 waves. And you have the liquidity grab. That could be a Wyckoff accumulation. So this could also be Wyckoff. So you basically have your range up here. And you come up, come back down, come to the spring in here, liquidity grab, curl back up, play around up here, and then break out. Totally possible. But what I'm saying is right now, it doesn't look like that. Right now, it looks like it needs work. This needs to get away from the scene of the crime. This is ugly and ugly and ugly. We need to get away from that. All right, we need to pretend that it never happened. And the way we do that is people psychology forgetting that it happened. So that's just an example. It doesn't matter if it's AVAX or VeChain or, I mean, they're all the same. Now, Bitcoin actually looks pretty good. But before I look at Bitcoin, let's finish XRP. So XRP, and then we'll look at THETA, and I'll tell you what I think. So, excuse me. Yeah, I think it looks really nice. I mean, this right here is beautiful. Like the way first of all, you have an A, an A, B, and a C. So you have a 3-wave move down. You crashed all the way to the downside. But not only that, you back tested it, right? So if I put this line here, right in there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do this. It'll be a lot better. Just take a rectangle here, and there's your zone. That's your back test zone right there. There we go. Okay, and then give me my arrow back, and yeah, right there, we back tested it very nicely. So seeing it come down and then tag this area here as support, because that's the thing, right? You have this big box and you create structure inside the box, okay? And you have resistance up here, support down here. You guys know that already. You guys know that. You break out of that. Yay, we're going to $10. But actually, we flagged out, right? And then you want to continue higher. I thought that, we could do that. But I will always say there's always a chance that you can come all the way back down and back test the top of this, right? To make it the new support, right? Breaking previous resistance and flipping it, making it the new support. So before, this was support. Once you break this, now this has to become support. But you have to come down and you have to test it to confirm the new support. And boy, did we confirm it like never before. I mean, this right here was extremely aggressive. Now, it doesn't mean it's a for sure thing. It doesn't mean we're going to the moon just yet. There could still be some problems ahead. I mean, we still have a lot of resistance up ahead. For example, I mean, it's not going to be easy. You know, look at all of this resistance up here. You're battling, you're battling, you're battling, you're battling, and then you have no volume, and then you drop. You basically freak the whole market out. Whoa, what happened? We're at 265. People come in, they buy that sucker, comes right back up. So what has to happen? Well, exactly what I tweeted out yesterday, which was this right here. So this was when XRP was about 308. And then I said we probably got to go a little bit higher. And we did. You can see we actually made it all the way up to 321, which was really good. So this was a screenshot taken yesterday. And essentially what I was saying here is the best thing XRP can do, right, is come back up and then flag out in here, right? Flag out and then get away from the scene, get away from this crash, right? And then create distance in between, you know, this area here and all of this over here, right? And then we can continue higher. So basically it's a 1, 2, and then we're looking for a big wave 3. So that is a massive wave 1. I mean, now look at it. Look at the difference now. It looks way better. So I'm so glad that XRP is not having to deal with all this other crap that all these other coins are dealing with, because it could have easily been XRP. I mean, XRP looks, despite the odds, despite the carnage in the rest of the market, because there's a lot of carnage, I mean, in the rest of the market. Just look at Theta, you know, it's nowhere near the same as XRP. If I just put XRP on top, I mean, you could see the difference here. I mean, it's just night and day, you know, and it's not the thing that I want to say, and I'm not happy about it because I hold Theta as well. But I told you guys this was probably going to happen. The reason why is because, again, it's not because XRP is the best ever. And even though it is really, really, really good, it doesn't mean it has nothing to do with the fundamentals or the technology. I mean, in some aspects it does. But what it really has more to do with is because when you look at something like Theta, right, on the weekly, and I've talked about this many times before, and you put on XRP, okay, XRP only went into a retracement. So here's XRP's rally back over here, right? So XRP barely went into a little retracement. Theta went from like 10 cents all the way up to $15. An incredible move. The biggest move, like one of the biggest moves I've ever seen, right? From 3 cents all the way up to $15. If you take a percentage, I mean, you're looking at freaking almost 45,000% plus. Versus something like XRP, it wasn't even in the same ballpark, right? So because of that, now it's going to take more time, it's going to take more structure to get that going, versus something like what XRP did. We had a rise, we had a crash, we had a retracement, and then we came down into reaccumulation. So we built a sideways base, a 7-year base. Theta is not even 7 years old, really. Or it actually is, but as far as the base goes, right? So when you look at something like Theta, it's simply a base with a wave 1 extension, a massive wave 1. So in order to get a wave 3, we need a lot here to blast off from, just like we needed a lot down here, right? To blast off from. And then here's your weight, your 700 and really like 1,000-pound weight right here. And it's counterbalancing this 1,000-pound weight, and it's not even touching it, right? Which is good. It's staying above it, so there's a gray area right in here. So, yeah, I think eventually we will get this massive move in theta. It's going to be huge. But it needs to equal the time, or not equal, but it needs to be in the same sort of vicinity of what XRP did. XRP went through hell, okay? It's like walking through the Sahara Desert without water for 2 days, and you finally find water and you drink it, and it's like the best water you've ever had, versus, you know, being at a freaking luxury resort like Theta was. Theta was at a luxury resort. It was getting drinks and all kinds of service, and it was just having fun and doing fantastic. But now the next day, Theta drinks that same glass of water. Yeah, it tastes like a regular glass of water, nothing special. But XRP walked through the desert. Like, look at this. You can see right here, and I won't even use Theta. It doesn't matter if it's Theta. I'm just using an example. We can use AVAX as an example, right? Or we can use Aave as an example, or Filecoin as an example. It doesn't matter, right? Because they all went on explosive. The the difference the reason why XRP is performing so well is because all those other coins, they went on massive bull runs in 2021. They got everybody excited. They got everybody extremely hyped up. And now that's why they're performing not as good, because XRP is making up for lost time. It's making up for lost price action, right? So this right here is a 7-year box, okay? But that is half the distance from this. This right here is the same as this right here. Look at the difference, right? Look how much more it had to go through. It had to walk through the valley of death, okay? This is 2 times as big as what this is, which means XRP stood in line to ride the roller coaster twice as long as it took Theta to ride that same roller coaster, right? So it deserves this move that we're seeing right now because of that. And that is why I said many times XRP is my biggest holding, because it had to go endure. And now, it was not an easy decision. It was a difficult decision because everyone's like, XRP, it's dead, it's not going to go nowhere, it's staying 50, 60 cents forever, blah, 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 blah. But basically what I'm saying, or what I've been saying, is that may be true, but if you look at what happened last time, it's simply following the same thing: rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. You really have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phases of a market, right? So as long as you have 5, right? Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. You need 5 phases. Theta has 1, 2, 3, and that's it. It really doesn't have even 4. I mean, I guess you can say this is 4, but it's just not enough. It doesn't compare. Now, I'm not saying that has to be the count. It could be, like I've said many times before, it could be the Ethereum model, right? Or even the Total 3 model, where you have a W pattern. So you have a rise, a crash, a retrace, a liquidity grab, or basically a W, right? You could see that W shape. Now, that's what we could get here. We could get that W here. So I would love to see Theta, have this W pattern, right? Because if you look at Total 3 or even Ethereum, it had a massive rally. So how was it able to go on and have another massive rally? Because it had a double bottom, right? So there's 2 ways you can do it: a W bottom, or a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways base. That's a base. This is a double bottom. This is a base. The base is actually better because you invest more time in the structure, right? If Elon Musk invests 2 years into a rocket ship versus investing 5 years into a rocket ship, what rocket ship's going to be better, bigger, faster, right? The one that took 5 years, not 2 years. So there you go. Same thing with the price of XRP. It built the biggest structure in crypto history. That's why I kept saying XRP has the biggest base in crypto history. It's got the most support. It's got the most structure inside of its base, more than any other coin. And that's why, right? And then on top of that, you add the lawsuit to it. Coinbase delisted XRP. And you can say, well, Coinbase hasn't even listed Theta. So, and that's true, and that's very, very true. Now, just imagine when Theta gets listed on Coinbase, it's going to be amazing. And I don't even know why Coinbase, Brian Armstrong's a freaking idiot. Like, why would you not list Theta? I mean, you're listing freaking garbage on there, like stupid Floki, meme coin, bullcrap. No offense, but I mean, come on, get over it. Like, Theta has actual utility. So I'm not sure what's going on with that discussion. Like, if I'm the CEO, I think his name is Mitch, right, of Theta. If I'm him, I'm calling up Brian Armstrong every day. Dude, what's up? What's up? What's up? Get me on Coinbase. Get me on Coinbase. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? I mean, like, I don't see the same, this guy right here. Who's the CEO of Theta Network? Well, his name is Mitch Liu. And I think this guy's great. I think he's probably he is brilliant. I mean, this guy's amazing. I mean, what he built is just simply one of a kind. I mean, look at this guy. He has a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Engineering from MIT, an MBA at Stanford University. He co-founded. I mean, look at all this stuff. I mean, he's a legend, okay? But you need someone that has more motivation, more drive, like a pit bull. Like, Theta needs a pit bull for its to get into Coinbase. I mean, is this guy right here calling up Brian Armstrong every day saying, Brian, get me on Coinbase, get me on Coinbase. What do I need to do, Brian? You're listing freaking Floki, a meme coin. Why can't you list me, Brian? What's up, man? I mean, come on, what do I need to do? So I don't know if this guy's doing that or not. I would love for him to do that, right? He needs like for example, that's another reason I'm extremely in XRP is because of Brad Garlinghouse. Brad Garlinghouse is on Fox Business, CNN. He's talking with so many people all over the world, different financial institutions, regulators. Like, I see him on the news all the time. I don't ever see this guy. And that's the difference, right? And but that's not his fault. This guy is like what's his name? The guy who created David Schwartz, right? He's a geek, right? Like the Geek Squad. But he's the Geek Squad on steroids. And these guys aren't supposed to be like MMA fighters like Brad Garlinghouse when it comes to business. But he needs somebody like that to drive it, like Monica Long, Brad Garlinghouse, somebody like that to really drive Theta into the next level. And I don't really know. So here we go. Okay, so you have the co-founder, head of strategy. Okay, this guy right here, he's the head of strategy. So I'm sure he's the guy who's trying to get Theta to the next level. You also have Andrea. She's the head of business development. You have head of content, Jerry Kowal, head of cloud operations. Okay. So these are the guys right here. These are the main guys. Okay. These guys are responsible for putting Theta on the map. And when Theta was blasting off in 2021, you had Paul Barron talking about it. But I don't hear Paul Barron talking about Theta this time around. Why? And he even said Theta is like the best crypto on the planet right now, back in 2021. But, he was also talking about like Avalanche back in that cycle. But he's also talking about Avalanche this cycle. But what I'm trying to say is, how come guys like him aren't talking about Theta this cycle? I don't know why, but they're missing out because there's a lot of really, really, really good things that are happening with Theta. there's a lot of good things that are happening with Theta. I mean, if you just look, this is their website here. All right. You got 148 days, I think that is, for the beta launch hybrid edge cloud. Okay, that's got to be really interesting. I'm not a techie guy. I don't really know about this stuff, right? I know Theta is really, really good in terms of, um, like AI and video and internet bandwidth, things like that. I mean, it's above my pay grade as far as what these guys do, but I know it's really good stuff, and we can use it, right? Like, it's basically decentralized internet. You know what I mean? Like, the internet basically, when you think of crypto, you're thinking of value, the exchanging value. You don't think about the internet. The internet is been around for a while, right? Everybody has the internet, or so people think. But what they're doing is taking the internet of value back to the actual internet of information, right? And streaming and things like that. So as YouTube gets bigger, because it used to be when I was growing up, we would watch cable and that was it. We would get like 50 channels. And then we went up to like Dish Network, and then we went to DirecTV, and then now DirecTV is going out of style. Now DirecTV, they have streaming devices. You just plug it in, and you basically are streaming on DirecTV. You don't even need a freaking satellite, all that infrastructure that you would need for something like Theta. I mean, for something like satellite internet, right? So if you take that same feature, and again, I'm not in that wheelhouse of knowing exactly how all of this stuff works, but I do know it's going to be worth a lot of money just because, when you think about, again, like streaming is going up and up and up and up and up, right? It's continuing going much, much higher. Whereas satellite and cable and things like that, like just look at Blockbuster Video. I mean, they're gone, right? Look at Netflix. They continue to go higher. So streaming is a big deal. And I'm streaming right now. I'm recording a video. I'm about to upload it to YouTube as far as streaming goes. So anyways, I just want you guys to understand that just because we're in this moment in time where, for example, this is what Theta looks like. I could draw the chart literally on here because I've seen it so many times. Boom, boom, boom. You have 3 up, you come back down, and now we're right there. This is the Theta chart right here. Okay, versus something like XRP, where, we started down here. We have a big crash. We come up into a retracement, and now we're like this, and now we're breaking out. So those are the two differences in the chart. Look at the difference, right? During this time was during this time, right? So XRP versus Theta in 2021, Theta blew it out of the dust. I mean, blew it out of the water, right? It left it in the dust. But right now, XRP is leaving Theta in the dust. But it's all a moment in time. It's all going to rotate eventually. So once Theta gets its structure, however that looks, then Theta will be the one rocking and rolling, right? And again, I think this is all going to take time, right? So let's go to their roadmap here. And I wasn't planning on doing this. I was just going to look at the charts. When I do a video, I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do, but not really. I kind of just go with it, And I would have never thought I would be on the Theta website right now. But yeah, man, you can see all this. You can earn Theta fuel by simply sharing your PC and Mac. Basically, you're sharing your bandwidth, right? So I think it's really cool. And then you can become a Theta Guardian by staking Theta to earn Theta fuel. That's cool. And then, see, I just not all into this stuff. I just, I stake Theta a little bit there and there. I just, I'm a trader. You have to understand. I look at charts. I don't really. I should follow this stuff because I am an investor. Investors should be very knowledgeable when it comes to the fundamental aspect. And I've deep dived into theta before, and I think it's amazing, but all this stuff that goes along with it, it's fine. It's just not really my thing. Um, but it probably should be. And I think it should be for a lot of people, right? So 2025, obviously they came out with their hybrid cloud. And one guy that knows about this stuff a lot, way more than me, is this guy right here. I think the way you pronounce it is Leviathan, Theta Leviathan. Or actually, no, I think it's Leviathan. Theta Leviathan, my bad. That's how you pronounce it. Leviathan. It's some mystical monster or something like that. I'm not sure, but I think it's a cool name. But anyway, this guy right here, I would definitely follow. If you want to know theta stuff, follow this guy. He's really nice and he talks about it all the time. And I'm sure if you drop a comment on here and ask, you can ask him anything, and I'm sure he would know a lot about it. Maybe one day I'll have him on the channel, and maybe we can talk theta, and I can interview him, and he can enlighten me on a lot of this stuff, because it's pretty deep, right? The way I've liked theta was Bix Weir, right? Bix Weir was the guy who kind of showed me, but he's not really a techie guy. He's more of a analyst, like kind of like myself in a way, where he kind of studies the events of what's going on. But as far as the deep technology side of it and how it can really do things, it's pretty interesting. So, yeah. So this one I thought was pretty interesting. The Edge Cloud, and that's what it's about. It's making new all-time highs as far as its GPU. I think that's the processing power. The VRAM. I know that's probably the storage or the memory of something. Again, I'm not the techie guy to know all this, but from what I hear and from what I understand, it's really good stuff. So, what's this video? Theta will change your life this cycle. Well, and maybe.
What is up, YouTube? And holding
okay,
this.
so he's a chart guy.
All
so
doing is thinking.
All right. I thought maybe he could be a fundamental guy. Maybe I just need to do a little bit more fundamentals, and instead of the charts. And that way I can kind of tie it together. But I've been down that road before in the fundamentals, right? Back over here. And I pretty much got burned on some stuff because it's so hard to know, what coin, like if you have two coins that come out and they're both like layer twos or whatever, and they both say they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this. They have this guy working, this girl working, this is their roadmap. Everything looks good. Here's their white paper. Oh my God, it looks cool. It's going to be a game changer. And everything's going and it's clicking. And then the coin comes out and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to value it at $10 billion. And then it goes up into $1 billion and then it crashes and it's dead. And it's like, well, how would you have known that? Well, that's why I like the charts way better than the fundamentals. And the proof is in the pudding, because if you look at meme coins, they don't have any fundamentals. Yet some of them perform way better than your average, coins that have fundamentals, like, Filecoin or Theta or something like that. You know what I mean? So the charts is way more important in my world, because in my world, it's about making money, Now, the fundamentals, they will work out, but it takes a lot longer, right? Because the only way fundamentals will work is if you have utility. And the only way utility works is if you have that utility being implemented. And the only way that works is if you have regulations. And the only way that works is if you have a president who's in there to do that. And we have Trump now. So I think the utility age is on the horizon for the market. So, anyways, that's kind of my talk to my message to the Theta community, because you guys really helped me build this channel. And again, Theta is my second biggest holding. So it made sense for me to go down this Theta road, right? So there's a lot of chart guys who say, yeah, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like I saw his chart. But again, I just, my problem with that is I don't have 5 waves here. Most people don't know how to do Elliott waves. They just don't, unfortunately. I mean, it's much harder than people think it is. But what I do see here is that this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And then we have another 1, 2. This is a 3. We're flagging out for a 4, and maybe we could get an extended 5th that brings us all the way back up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, $12, somewhere around that $10 mark, we'll say. And then we flag out. So this could in essence be a 1, 2, right? And then this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? And then all of this is 1, 2, 3, and then we flag out for a 4, and then we go up and hit that grand finale for a wave 5. That is the best case scenario. That is the W model. That is the Ethereum model, right? Versus something going up. If this is going to come down and go sideways, then break out, this could also hit the high and be a 3-wave move, a 3-wave retracement, and then we'll go sideways and then continue higher, right? Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways breakout. That could be a case. So there's a lot of different things that can happen in here. So we got to be careful. But the good thing is, I like the way it's shaping on the macro right here. You can see a cup. You can see another big cup. You can see another big cup, right? You're cupping into the resistance in here, right? And now you're flagging out. So if we could get back up here to this trend line, this supply line, and we can kind of muster up the strength and break it, it's going to be a big deal. And then I look at it in phases. This is phase 1, breaking this trend line. Phase 2 is getting through these retracement levels way up here. There's a lot of them up here. And then phase 3 would be the all-time high, and then phase 4 would be price discovery, and then phase 5 would be looking for targets and sell points. Okay, so I'm looking at it in 5 phases, and we still got a long ways to go. But once this thing can get going, because we all know what Theta is capable of. I mean, just look at this thing. It went from 10 cents to $15. If you would have put 10 grand right in here, you would have been insanely rich, right? So, yeah. So, that's just, it is what it is, right? So we gotta wait. We gotta wait and see. Now, you could make the case also that this range started down, or started back in over here in January 2021, and now here's your accumulation range, right? But the problem with that is I don't have enough oscillation in here but it still looks really good. I like the rounded bottom. You have the sell side of the curve, and now this is the buy side of the curve, right? And then you have this base down in here. There you go. So you're on the right side of the curve, right? So it's all about, you know, getting to that point. So anyways, that's pretty much it. Let's look at the small time frames here. So the small time frames is the problem, right? This is the issue. And the issue is that, you know, I mean, it looks great. It looks great, but it also looks bad. And the way I explain it is, the reason why it looks really, really good is because you have this impulse, you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and you have 3 back down. Okay, that is a W, X, Y. And it looks phenomenal. It looks like we have an impulse and a 3-wave pullback. Now I want to see a base, and I want to see a breakout. Very, very, very simple. So what's the problem? What's the problem, Crypto Brandon? Why does it look bad? Well, because I need to see proof and evidence that that's what it's going to be, right? Because we have the idea, but we don't have the follow through. What will change? What will make me very excited? Well, what's going to make me very excited is seeing some type of structure down here that lets me know that that's the case, right? Because you have this 3, right? We'll just do that. And then 3 down. Come back up here. So the thing is, the problem I have is this finished, right? Because it could easily be as well as a descending triangle, right? Something like this. And we just broke down, and now we came up, we're retesting it as resistance, and now we're going to continue coming down. That's the problem, right? So which one is it? Is it a bullish 3-wave move, and we're going to go up? Or is it a bearish descending triangle, and we just barely broke down, we have a long way to go down? Well, what would be the measured move to the downside? It would be approximately, I'm going to start it from this point here. I mean, you're looking at a long way down, $1.23. So, and that could easily happen, but we could still get a higher low, right? So here's what I'm saying here. This could be, and I think what's going on here is either obviously the 3-way bullish move, boom, 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 and then we break out, or what's going on is something that what XRP did, which is a rise, crash, retrace. We got to go back down into reaccumulation, hold support down in here, somewhere in here, consolidate, right? Go sideways, build a range, and then break out later on. So you got your rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout later on. But that could take months for that to happen, right? And then here's a really good fractal on how this looks. It's right here. Let me go to the daily, or let's go to the 2-day, I think. Or actually, let's just go to the weekly, I guess. Right there. So there it is right there. So you could see you got your rise, your crash, your crash. You come up into a retracement, Look at this. You also have a descending triangle right in the same spot, guys. That's a big, big deal, right? And then what happened was you broke down 50% of this wave. So you take this whole wave, you cut it in half. That's right where we went. And then you had 3 up, 3 down, and we blasted off. So we come down, right? We get 3 up, we get 3 back down, and then we blast off. So that's kind of what I'm thinking if the bulls don't take control soon enough, right? So, so there we go. Just made a little bit of a screenshot here. Something like this. So I think that's pretty good right there. So anyways, yeah, you could see XRP did the same kind of thing, right? It it came up here. It looked like it was going to go for it, you know, had this cup here. It looked like it was a handle, but then it kind of came into a descending triangle. It broke down. It had 3 up. It had 3 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going into 5. So could that be what's happening with theta, where we have this descending triangle? We break down, 3 up, 3 down, and then we go up into 5. I mean, yeah, I think that could be something to play. But how does it line up with summer? Do we get a bullish summer for the first time ever? I don't know. Does it happen really quick by spring and then it happens really fast by April? Maybe, you know, it's kind of a tough one. But you could say that maybe the descending triangle has already broken down. If I move it up a little bit more here, you can kind of see we're on our way down here. So it's not the greatest looking chart, right? So if we zoom in here, we're still going down. But we do, I mean, you could say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you have a 3-way pullback. So I want to see what happens in here. Do we hold support? Do we build a higher low? And how does that look moving forward, right? Because again, you also have that Bitcoin fractal where this kind of, you know, we could hit the low and drag out a little bit and then continue higher. Or if the low's in, right, then you drag out a little bit and then continue higher. For the bulls, or if it's going to be the XRP sort of model, trust me, Theta community and not just Theta, but all the other coins, right? It's not just Theta. I'm just using it as an example. But if this comes down here, you know, we might have to play around here down for a little while because you have this big area down here, right? You built this base. You broke out of the base. Now we could come all the way back down and retest it. A, B, C, something like that. And then get down here, right? Get down here and back test it down in here. And then continue higher. That's what probably is going to happen. You know, something to that effect. So anyways, I think I've made my case here. Bitcoin, real quick. You know, this is life or death for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin could be in distribution. Michael Saylor, I don't see how he's gonna survive if this has to come down. On one hand, you have a nice impulse and you have a 3-way pullback, right? So you have sort of 3, 3, and 5, I guess. It's kind of a weird structure, but if you just look at it like this, you have 3, right? So if this is 3, 1, 2, or 1, yeah, that would be 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and then continue, right? The bullish way. The other way would be if this is some kind of flat in here. So boom, boom, and then we have some move like that, like a bigger ABC down. So it's really in a really tough spot. I just don't really know right now. You have this triangle. We came up. We're getting rejected. What I want to see for Bitcoin is flagging out in here. We want to flag out just like this, and then we want to break out. Simple, very, very simple. Here's your 1, Here's your 2. Let's flag out. Let's go. Done. All right, guys, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you can hit the like, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.